So, the patch notes for Battlefield 5's 4.2 update are now live, and, well, they're a bit shorter than I thought they'd be, but we're going to go through them anyway. But to compensate for the shortness of the patch notes, I've also got some early information about what we can expect in August for Battlefield 5, so overall, this will just be your standard Westie 10-minute video with adverts in it so that I can earn a living. And coincidentally, this video is sponsored by Elgato as well. Elgato make great recording and streaming products, and right now in the UK, there's a sale on for their 4K 60 Pro internal capture card at scan.co.uk. The price is down to $249 from $359, so it saves you a chunk of money if you were in the market for a beefy capture solution. Link at the top of the description if you want more details on that. Okay then, that's the shilling over, time to move on. Let's start with that list of changes and additions coming in Update 4.2. First thing we need to talk about, we have a fix for the invisible soldiers currently plaguing the game, but it has been rather cleverly worded within the patch notes to cover off a variety of outcomes, shall we say. Fixes targeted at removing extreme instances of invisible soldiers is the official line in the patch notes, and that to me, that does trigger a couple of different alarm bells. That statement is telling me that the changes that have been applied are intended to fix the problem, but that there may still be elements of the issue remaining behind. So rather than outright saying they have fixed the problem, DICE is leaving that door slightly open, so if issues do continue to show after the patch, they've got a little bit of wiggle room. And at this point, after so many patches making the game worse and introducing more bugs, I'm hardly surprised that DICE is using some clever language to protect themselves a little bit. The last thing the team needs is more community unrest and negativity, so by erring on the side of caution, they protect themselves somewhat. It may very well be that after extended testing, because let's not forget this patch is already delayed, that DICE believe they have totally fixed the issue, but they're still being hesitant to say that they have fixed it because they don't know what's going to happen in the live environment. So it remains to be seen, but in general, work has been done to eradicate those pesky invisible soldiers, which is good news, I suppose. Next, the P08 Pistol Carbine. The specialization issue has indeed been fixed, as was rumoured to be the case, but that change has also been joined by a slight rebalance of the weapon as well. Recoil has been reduced, and muzzle velocity has been increased slightly after community feedback. In certain scenarios, it would lose out almost every time to other weapons, so DICE has made a change here, which I guess is quite nice for people who want to use that weapon. Various performance and stability issues have been addressed with this update as well. The game will no longer stutter or hang when killing enemy infantry with tanks. That's not a fix for the stuttering issue with the assignment system, but at least one of the stutters has now been fixed. The screen will no longer turn black when firing some of the stationary field cannons. That never happened to me, but I think on console that was more of an issue. It might be good news for console players then. Players trying to get into airplanes should no longer get stuck in the deploy screen. An unintended suppression effect was being applied to infantry soldiers when a nearby tank fired its main cannon, so that's now been fixed and removed, which is great. The sights of the Arras weapon skin for the Lewis gun, they now display correctly when the weapon is equipped with the extended mag specialization. The correct crosshair now shows for the Mosquito on all loadouts, and the company menu will now display the correct amount of bombs for the Ju-88. And one further point worth mentioning, the Revolver sidearm has been slightly nerfed, with rate of fire dropping from 200 to 180 rounds per minute, so that's a slide towards making the Revolver as bad as the rest of the secondaries available in Battlefield 5. If I'm honest, I'd love DICE to spice up the secondary selection in the game. I'd love to see some more pistols added, I'd love to see some other variations in there, and just in general, I'd like to be excited about the secondary weapons in this game. Battlefield 1 was brilliant for secondary weapons. Battlefield 5 so far has been really, really bland and like beige. It's there and it works, but no one's really interested. So DICE, why not make me interested in the secondaries by making them better and more flamboyant? I think everyone would appreciate that. And for the 4.2 patch, that's it. I told you the list wasn't particularly long. This patch has been delayed for a couple of weeks already. Originally, it was intended to be released in mid-July, but DICE chose to delay it and focus on delivering a patch that would actually improve the game and would be stable, rather than taking another quick stab in the dark and hoping that they'd patch things correctly. Now, as I've said in the past, I don't mind patches and content being delayed if that is going to fix things, but I did think this patch was going to include more fixes, and some of the responses to the patch notes on Reddit and social media seem to reflect that sentiment as well. Now, that sentiment may well have been created because of assumptions made by people like us in the community. When this patch was delayed, we unintentionally assumed that more things would be added to the patch to sort of make it a better patch overall and it fix more things, but that doesn't appear to have been the case here. It is worth noting that a lot of the development team have taken vacation time in the last few weeks. It's fairly common for Swedish people to take holiday in the month of July because I believe that's when they have the most sunlight and they want to make the most of it. It seems then, without most of the team in the office to work on the patch, or indeed add more to the patch, what we've actually got is a much smaller update with one major fix in it. But there is a good chance that this patch has been tested for longer to ensure stability, so pros and cons here. Depending on the outlook that you have, you might see this as a good or a bad thing. I see it as a good thing for the most part. I'd rather have a patch that fixed things and didn't break anything else, regardless of its size, rather than get a buggy patch that was rushed to meet some arbitrary deadline. I will say this, however. DICE needs to start nailing out these issues in the next few patches to get Battlefield 5 back on track and start restoring some faith with the community. All of that trust that the community had in DICE to bring this game forward is basically gone now, and DICE is going to have to start again with the community for Battlefield 5. They need to show players that they're able to handle this game, they're able to improve it, and start delivering solid content on time. If they can do that, then I do believe the community will come around, and maybe we will see a bit of a resurgence for Battlefield 5, but if they fail, then the hole is definitely too big for Battlefield 5 to be the only ladder out of it. I think at that point, the damage might be too much for Battlefield 5 to handle. But speaking of future patches, I did say we were going to talk about those. The next one after tomorrow's is going to be launching next week, and it's going to activate the Marita map. For some reason, this needed to be a separate patch. I'm not 100% sure as to why, but Marita will be launching next week, right at the end of July, and there will be a very, very small patch to enable that. And then patch 4.4, that's coming in late August. This is what I've got information about. DICE is using even numbers for their patches at the moment, but this 4.4 patch is going to include a bunch of new content, so let's work through that list now. First, we're getting two new maps, Lawful Islands and Provence. Both of these maps will be catered towards Battlefield 5's smaller game mode, so expect to be playing these in squad conquest rotations, maybe TDM, maybe even domination, not 100% sure, but I think squad conquest is pretty much confirmed at this point. It's my understanding that these maps will be released at the same time, and they were due to support the 5v5 game mode that's been in the works for some time now, but at the moment, I can't find any mention of that 5v5 game mode anywhere, so we're going to have to wait and see what happens. It's like disappeared off the face of the earth. I don't know what's happening there. I kind of wish that the Rush game mode was supported on these two maps as well. So, hint hint DICE, that would be great. The max rank increase to 500 is also coming in the August patch, which is great news, I think. This is going to completely revamp the career rank progression system within the game, and it's going to give players a much loftier goal to work towards. I'm personally quite excited for this because it means that I can put into practice something that I've been wanting to do for quite a long time now, but so far Battlefield 5 just hasn't provided me with the facility to do it, so that's all changing soon and I'm quite excited for it. You're going to be able to unlock new dog tags along the journey to rank 500, and a change to the company coin handout is coming with this as well. The end of round company coins, those will be removed, and instead each new rank that you achieve on the way to 500, that's going to reward you with a bunch more company coin instead, which is an interesting and quite exciting move from DICE, I think. We're also going to be seeing 3 new weapons come with the patch in preparation for future Tides of War unlocks. We've got the Panzerbuchse 39, the Breda M1935, and the C96 Pistol Carbine. All of those will be in the files ready to go for separate weekly challenges to unlock them. We're also going to see some updates to the Fortress game mode as well. That was previously a limited time game mode that appears to be making a comeback within Chapter 4. Of the 2 limited time modes that we saw in the middle of Chapter 3, Fortress was the one that I preferred, as there was some clear sense of objective. You knew what you were doing. You were either defending a point or you were attacking it and trying to own it. If it has been added to more maps, which may well be the case, I'll be interested to see what DICE has done here. If it's just back on the previous 2 maps it was before, then I don't think that's really going to invigorate too many players. And also, alongside that content, we're going to see more fixes targeted towards improving performance and stability across the 3 different platforms. So, I'm assuming here, that means they're going to try and restore the level of performance that we had at the start of Chapter 3 back in March. Things were pretty good then, and now they're pretty awful. And, hopefully, working to eliminate that nasty stuttering bug around the assignment system, because that is still in the game, and it's not going to be fixed with patch 4.2. Hopefully, that'll be fixed in the August update, but no info at the moment. So, to quickly recap, the patch tomorrow, that's going to focus on fixing invisible soldiers and not really much else. A small patch next week, that's going to enable the Marita map, and then we can play on a brand new map. Yay, fantastic, celebrations. And then the patch after that, coming in late August, that's going to deliver more content to the game. As I've said before in my previous videos, I'm going to wait and see if these patches do what they say they're going to do before passing judgment on them. So expect a video tomorrow focusing on that update, and we'll analyse and see if things have indeed been fixed. And I will say this at the moment, I hope for the community's sake and DICE's sake that these patches do actually work correctly. Battlefield 5 is at a really critical point now, and if DICE can deliver some solid updates, they might just be able to turn things around before the Pacific hits in late 2019. But thanks very much for watching today. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, hit the dislike button if you didn't. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.